Not quite what I was expecting. Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we're looking at a Sony SL-C9 Betamax, of course. It's the E version as opposed to the UB, so European as opposed to UK. And we've seen this before on the channel at least once, if not maybe twice. This has been sent in for repair by Ivan. Hi Ivan, hope all is well with you. And I thought it was going to be those two gears on the top of the front loading system, but it's not. So let's take the top off and have a look. Just see what actually is going on. It's a bit of an odd one. So, gosh. That is actually, well, it's almost like the end, maybe the end switch for the front loading system is out of adjustment, maybe. Now this I actually sold to Ivan back in 2019. Oh, look, I put batteries on there. Wonder how well they've fared. I don't do this anymore. I just take them out. These are apparently a good fix for replacing the backup battery, but I've since found they're really not. So I might take those out. I was thinking they felt a bit warm, but no, they're okay. But I might just test those and just see how they've done. They're full metal, nickel metal hydride cells, 1.2, and I just put two together. Not sure what's going on there. I think it's a splash flux from when I soldered the ends on, but maybe interesting. But yeah, I think, I mean, it smashed the plastic, which is really quite something. Unless that happened in transit, but oh, I can see what's happened. One part of the front loading system is actually, it's popped out of where it should go. So maybe this won't be so difficult after all. Let's turn that off and let's bring this back a bit. And I think, well, it's bent, the metal there, little metal piece there, that I do need to take this out, really, don't I? I'm just intrigued if I get this back in for now, whether just really nervous about, well, worried that it might have cracked plastic. Yeah, you can see I didn't actually replace the grease either, so I'm going to take this out and re-grease it, I think, clean it all up. I'm going to put the two foam pads. I was actually chatting with Noel Higgins about this, about replacing these pads, and he said he always replaces them, and I do now. I just put fresh ones on, take off, like I have there, I've taken off the old pads, and you can see what a lovely job it does of taking the protection off the metal, and then I just put new ones on. I just use standard foam and some it's actually red tape, just to stick it down, and yeah, for what it's worth, it just stops the top from touching this. in case you put your Sony portable on top of it or whatever. But yeah, there's a screw missing there as well. So I think, I mean, this really does date back to the time when I had next to no spares. And of course now I have quite a lot more. That there is actually a bit out as well. So yeah, I'm going to take this out, but it's a shame it's broken that plastic. I'll have to find some way of just reinforcing that, I think. Probably the plastic's there. There was actually a bit of plastic floating about, and that's now gone. It's probably fallen in there as well. So, okay, so I'll start stripping this down, and we will get this out and take it from there. Let's crack on. Okay, so let's get this front off. There's a crack there as well, cracked plastic. Now I do remember, it's a while since I've worked on a C9, so you're very much watching me remember as I go along. I don't tend to fabricate my knowledge. What you see is what you get. If I don't know, I don't know, and I always share that. So yeah, sometimes people say, you don't know anything. Well, yeah, initially I don't, but I'm sharing that with you, because if I haven't worked on something for a while, it takes a little bit for the old grey matter to catch up. So, but my theory is, and I mean, I've only been sort of really working on these machines, what, 5 years? Ever? Because I dealt with VHS back in the day. It was all pretty much VHS with just the odd beta, even though I cut my teeth on beta machines. But they were Toshibas, which everybody loves. And yeah, so there's a bit of plastic there. So yeah, this is really, as far as somebody who loves domestic video recorders, living the dream. So there's that bit of plastic that was around there. So if that's up, and then the next thing I need to do is take that clip off there. That's the clip I always used to forget. And you take out the screws, lift this up, and bend that, or bend that, and then it all goes horribly wrong. Yes, now there's screws down there, and I seem to remember. Well, I've got a screwdriver that will actually get through, but I seem to remember you've got to wind this in a bit to get to them, because of where they are. So, okay. I can try and do that, I suppose. Should have actually shown it, but I've actually managed to lift the plastic. It's actually very easy to do. I just use the point of the screwdriver just to move the plastic out just a tiny bit. It's now resting on the carriage portion. I don't think, because it's right as far as it will go. Well, let's see. That should. I could almost do with driving this with a battery, which might actually happen. I seem to remember it was the red and brown wires. Just put a bit of wire in the one and a longer bit in the other, put it across a battery and we can drive it. So yeah, I think I'll do that. Yeah, so I've just put a bit of wire in there. Probably got this the wrong way. Yep. So I want it to wind that way. I think I probably could do with a little bit more, like 3 volts would be enough just to... I don't want to drive it with too much voltage because if there is something else broken, it will just stop rather than break plastic. Oh gosh, that is tight. Of course you can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, it's always tempting to fire up the power supply and just do it. Variable power supply and just add some current just to get it to wind, if that might happen. Okay, so power supply's on. Just bodge the 2 wires from it into the top of the connector. It should be okay. I don't think we've got any stray wires. We'll soon find out. Probably this will be the wrong way round. So let's give it a little bit of yeah, it's the wrong way around. And you can see the plastic's gone the other side again. So pull this out, voltage is off. And they're tinned, it's tinned copper, so they press in quite nicely and quite easily, to be fair, without doing any real damage at all. So let's just turn it up again. And if we pull this so it has a chance to pop in if it's going to. Oh, that's completely jammed. It's 340 milliamps. 7 volts. 8 volts. That is not happy, is it? Ooh. Not happy, is it? What that is, it just fell down. But it's not to the point where, because these should just, you know, once you get to that stage, well, let's try a cassette. I'm sure it's nothing to do with the cassette there not being a cassette. Yeah, it's right near, so let's turn it up again. Oh, overcurrent. No, nothing. I cannot drive that motor anymore. It's jamming. So I have got a bit of an issue. It's not a huge issue. If my memory serves me right, I can see a bit of plastic in there as well. It's only a bit of tape, but yeah, it probably isn't helping. Seems terribly jammed. This side seems fine. This side is just totally jammed. It looks like everything is in where it should be. So those there, they're the switches that detect when you push a cassette in and activate the motor. So they're fine. It's these are the locks. These lock the front carriage to stop it going in with no cassettes. Sort of child safety thing. Yeah, gosh, it's even, that has pushed so hard, it's actually bent the metal there. I don't really quite make that out. Yeah, you can quite easily see that. But also push this, wow. It's almost like it's completely out of time, to be fair. So maybe it might be that switch. I do actually have another one of these front loading systems complete, ready to go. It's one I sort of restored ages ago, just in case. And this might be a good opportunity to use it. But I still need to get this out. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I think I can get through there. I seem to recollect you can, if you take off these two screws and that screw there, you can take this top off and push out the sides and get to those two screws. So yeah, let's have a go with that. So dug out my long screwdrivers. This is not nice to do because there's a spring there, so you have to just sort of get past the spring. Can't quite see that. Let's not magnetize this one. And then I think it's somewhere down through there, just minding out that spring. And a bit of a push, very gentle push. But it's so jammed, that's what I can't get over. Just how jammed this is on this one side. So I'm really intrigued now. Let's turn off the power supply. Pull this out and undo the loom. Gosh, I remember doing this so much, but like I say, I haven't done a C9 for so long. It's easily a couple of years, and this has to lift out as well, doesn't it? Because the hinge of this board is part of the front loading system. Why do I seem to remember there's another screw? Yes, that's right. It's all coming back to me, slowly. And dear. Just put this down. I have to be a bit careful because there's obviously a charged battery there. Potentially a charged battery. I don't think it is, but I don't want to be shorting those out. Okay, so they're unplugged. This should come out now. Oh, just cords on there. Put it out. Jobs are good. So a bit of plastic. Yeah, it's a bit of tape. Okay. So I've got the clip. Let's have a look. Let's get these screws out as well. Let's have a look and just see what's going on with this front loading system. Let's crack on. So I didn't find the reconditioned one, but I did find, well, I came across this one first, so this will do the trick. This one, and yeah, as you can see, it's got the lanyard on a spring. Just keeps this from sort of fouling anything. But what's sort of interesting is this one. I don't know whether you can really see it terribly well, but it's slightly bent. This side here is slightly pushed in. Should be like more like that. And I think that's causing some of the issues. But the other thing as well, and again, I don't know whether you can quite make this out, is that pole there, post, is bent. Should be straight like that one, but it's not. And the whole lot is sort of a bit sort of out. So I think all I can really do is take this apart and just see if we can get it all straightened out and working properly. It is well and truly jammed. I thought it was something to do with that, but that has actually moved. Oh, in fact, that whole side has moved. Now I've straightened that. So I just wonder if it's a case of maybe straightening this out. Yeah, I might be able to do it without taking it apart. It's probably going to be quite difficult to film. I just wonder what's pushed it in. It's like the whole lot's been pushed in and this has been pushed down. Yeah, I almost need to get some pliers or something on this just to sort of straighten it out. So yeah, I'll go and get some, I think, and we'll give it a go. Well, that's a lot straighter. I think I've got that perfect actually now. It's a bit weird what's happened to this. I'll straighten this bracket out as well, but let's just get this back on. I would like to strip down this side anyway and just give it a good clean out and some fresh grease. Yeah, that seems to be moving now. I thought it did have stops. Maybe it doesn't. No, it doesn't, does it? Yeah, they're purely just to clamp the cassette. There's no sort of locking or unlocking going on there. Oh, it seems fine. And the front door is going up. Stop you pushing anything into it. That's it. Oh, not quite. Oh, that's it. I would argue the one side is slightly out of time. Maybe. So this side, there's a tiny bit of play, but this side is fully down, so we'll have to have a look at that. So let's eject it. What's sticking? So, yes, now there is, at the bottom, forgotten about this, there's a little locking tab. And when it's down, like fully down, that locks. You can see that. Yeah, so it's this part, it's the arm. The arm pulls that back. That arm that you sort of unclip from the deck, when you press eject, that gets pulled and that unlocks the bottom peg. So I should now be able to, oh, wrong way, wind this back up, and I'll just give it a bit of a hand. It does seem fine. If not one tooth out. In fact, I've probably knocked it one tooth out. So this side, you can see it's about 2 mil in, whereas that side is right up to the end. So I would say it's 1 tooth out. That's it. That is about fully unloaded. Those are up. So you'll see as it moves in, they go down. It's easy enough to bend back, I'll give it that. I would like to take this apart and clean out the grease and put fresh grease on. So I need to just wind this in. Yeah, you see that was stuck again, wasn't it? Yeah, so that's stop position. Yeah, I think once that's sort of put back together, because obviously I've knocked that out a bit now, it'll be fine. So, okay, let's get this up so it's true, or relatively true, relatively vertical. And then take off I think I can just carefully pull this off. I've budged that slightly, but I think I'm okay. So yeah, that's pretty grim, to be honest. And here as well, you know, it just needs a good clean up. So I'll do that. Re-grease it as well. Yeah, horrible. Let's crack on. Looking a lot cleaner, which is good. So put this back on, and I'll just try a bit of muck in there. Obviously not bothered putting any grease. I just used some silicone lubricant, quick drying stuff. I don't bother putting it on the teeth because that will achieve nothing. And oh, I can see some grease I've actually missed. I've greased all under here. I say under here, I haven't greased under there. Well, I have. I can see some actually, but yeah, it's quite mucky actually. I see some more that I've missed. I might actually put some graphite grease. Let's get some graphite grease. Do a good job. And don't do this on carpet like I am, unless you don't mind your carpet getting a bit stained. That'll probably be enough. Not looking bad at all. Let's see some more grease I've missed here. It's very dusty as well. And I've put a little bit on the helix screw there. That we should be about good to go. That has to go into a little locating hole, and I actually can't see where the screw goes because the camera's in the way. So we've got this to put back on. Which goes a little bit like that, but I do need to sort of straighten it out, so I'll do that. So there is like it's a little curled up bit there, sort of slightly bent bit there. It's obviously to help guide it. But yeah, we should be able to get that in now. Pop this on. I can't see that I've knocked the timing out in any way, shape or form, but we'll see. I'll obviously run it by hand, not putting it straight back in the machine at this point. So that goes that side, so that goes on the inside, and then just get these locating bits in, see what it looks like. Looking pretty good. Okay, so not sure they're lifting up quite as much as they should. Let's see what a cassette feels like pushing through. Oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, as long as it's smooth going in. If it's not smooth, then it'll more than likely be these that aren't being lifted up properly. So yeah, and obviously, I mean, the rubbers as well have can get destroyed, especially when if there is a fault sort of developing then, and these aren't getting lifted up, these rubbers soon get knocked off. So yeah, there's a few different things you can do to sort of replace these. You can use like the outer sleeving to black cable, like mains cable, or I have used on one. I actually used heat shrink, well, a couple of bits of heat shrink, just one on top of the other, and yeah, just tighten it up, and that actually did quite a nice job. So yeah, but you can improvise and do something to get those back. I mean, in theory, you can just leave it without, because at the end of the day, all they're doing is clamping down the cassette when it goes down into the tray. But you don't necessarily want the top of the cassette to get sort of marked from the metal, sort of moving it about. So yeah, just something just to act as a bit of a barrier. And it has actually got plastic on it from when it was new, the protective plastic. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. The front flap is slightly distorted, but everything is true and straight. So yeah, that's great. So what I'm going to do next, quite like to tidy this up if I can, but what I'll certainly be doing is just putting the two bits of foam on, and giving it a final clean, because there's quite a few bits of grubbiness going on there. So yeah, I'll just clean all that up, and then we should be somewhere near being able to get this back in, and we'll see if it works. So yeah, let's crack on. I still wasn't quite happy with the alignment of this, and it looked like I was just one tooth out on either side really, but I decided to do this side because it's much simpler. There. So undid that screw, and you can just push this back a little bit, enough to get this gear out of mesh with the small gear. And I just experimented until I got it right. I did have that little plastic guide there fall off. It just pushes back on, and you can do that quite easily without sort of putting it about too much. But yeah, that is now completely and utterly true. So yeah, really pleased with that. I think I've worked out what's going on with this deck, and the clue was that being bent. So as we saw, when the carriage comes all the way down, this locks the carriage in place, and that's driven by the arm that everyone forgets to to unclip when you unscrew these things. So can I actuate it? Yeah. So I think it needs to be down. Yeah, it needs to be down first before it'll unlock. So I think we can do that. So you can see that's now locked in, and then the tape laces. When you press eject, it ejects, and then this is actuated and pulls this back, and that then allows this to the carriage to then lift free and eject the cassettes. And what actuates that, it's actually really simple. This is what actuates that. But what's happening is if I fully unlace this as far as it will go, that's it. That's as far as it will unlace. This isn't moving far enough back. So you see the timing hole. There's actually a bit out of time. That's where it should end up. And if you look at the switch, get that bit of run on to there. It might need a slight bit of adjustment actually, but this isn't coming all the way back to push this back. It's almost there, but I think that's like a 2/3 maybe. You can see the gear there for it. So I just need to slacken that off and lift that up without knocking this out of time. Just making sure the hole is aligned, and we should be okay, I think. I didn't actually record all of it. It's taking the 2 screws out and just moving this bit of cable management out of the way. I should be able to lift this out. And it's on a sub-assembly, so just put that there. So 2 screws, one there and one there. I don't think I'll have to take this right out, but it's no problem if I do. I just need to lift this up. That is as far as it will go. So I think we should be okay. Yeah, that's now engaging. So let's tighten up those 2 screws. It does seem to be a 2/3. Put this back on. Oh, now that hasn't come back again. No, it has. It just got stuck. Is it that it's going a little bit? Well, it probably doesn't need to go that far, does it? Because that's completely free of that, but I don't think it gets pulled that far. So yeah, hopefully it'll be all right. There's a little bit of distortion there as well. I wonder if it might be worth just taking it off and bending it back. Can I get that off without losing the washer? Yes. It's slightly bent at this end. Be here all day doing that, but that seems a lot better. If I put it right out, it'll, as long as it gets in the gap, it's sliding much better now. So maybe we can get this back together and I'm going to put those foam bits on, but I'm not going to worry about that until we've got the machine working. So let's put it back together and just see if that has solved the issue. Well, that's certainly located it correctly. Yeah, it's pushing it. It's actually pushing the whole front loading system. So that's looking promising. That's looking like we might have solved it. Okay, I'll put the screws back in and we will take it from there. Okay, so the screws are back in. I've not plugged the motor in yet, but everything else is. So let's just see how this works. Easier said than done. And that pulls back. And that's it, that's unlocked it. So this then should then be able to eject. So I suppose we just need to go for it. Just make sure the flap is not going to foul anything. Yeah, I think we just need to go for it and keep our fingers crossed. I think we should be okay. Oh, incidentally, I removed all of this from the cable management just to get the board back in. Should have done that to take the board out, really, but yeah, this will stop it from unhooking from the hinge if you don't pull this all out sort of tightly. It won't come out very straight and nice. So let's put that back in. So here we go. Moment of truth. So power on. Magic. The shame I forgot to keep that from doing that. So there we go. So have to actuate both switches so it goes in enough, and then yeah, it will be fine. Okay, so I will just put the finer bits and pieces back together, get the copy box, the capture box set up, and we'll give it a test. Let's crack on. Okay, so moment of truth. Let's put that up so you can see what's going on. So okay, so far so good. And play.
Now, if the surface of the lawn is pretty waterlogged
Lovely.
in your garden, if the soil is heavy, you want to let that moisture get away.
Working. Good. Got the usual sort of little darklies in this on this recording. So the wonderful tape remain. So that is looking really, really good, but the moment of truth is to press eject. So let's, well, keep our fingers crossed. Absolutely fine. So yeah, that was literally that being slightly out of time, possibly because that jammed, and not unlocking the bottom of the carriage. So that's actually really, really cool. So yeah, I will give it the machine a bit of a check through. I'm not going to bother showing that on this. I need to fix the plastics as well for the center bit. I'm just going to super glue it, and then probably I'll melt a little bit of wire loop into it just to give it some additional strength. But yeah, and I will just check as well if I I took the glue off the Hall effect. I'm pretty sure in 2019 I was doing that, so I think I was just doing it as a matter of course because it's always been a problem. I know even back in the 90s I was doing that because yeah, they were forever sort of causing problems with the Hall effects dying as a result of the glue becoming conductive from moisture. It does need a good clean as well. You can see quite a bit of muck on there. I can't quite make it out on camera. The sort of top and bottom of the tape path as it goes through the caps down is mucky, but yeah, that's really cool. Really pleased with that, and yeah, I can go back now and hopefully won't see it for another 6 years. So with that, thank you very much for watching. A like and subscribe is always very welcome and much appreciated. Really does help, and I will hopefully see you in another video. Bye for now.